This weekend, it made it very clear what direction the Bears should go. We talk about that next on the Unbearable Sports Podcast.
We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube and rate the show 5 stars everywhere you get your podcast, especially Apple Podcasts. You already know the drill. Rate 5 stars out there, and you're in the running for a free Darnell Wright jersey. And once we reach 58 5-star reviews, we will announce it live on the show. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to put this together because all the stuff that happened this weekend, I want to break it down and just kind of talk about the vibes that kind of this weekend created. And this is just the life of a Bears fan, I guess. Things happen, vibes change, vibes happen, and that's what we're going to be breaking down today. And first off, this didn't even happen this weekend. This happened today. I'm recording this on Monday night. Let's start off with the big news because it shouldn't even really be big news. It's not that surprising. Caleb Williams declared for the draft. Surprising? No. I mean, to some people, this might be surprising, but we all knew that Caleb Williams was going to declare for the draft. If he didn't, that would be absolutely crazy, absolutely mind-blowing. But I just want to say this because some people treat this as, wow, he's so stuck up. He waited till the last day. I just want everyone to know out there, too, Justin Fields waited for the last day to declare for the draft. So even though it feels weird, good old number one did the same exact thing. So now we just have to wait and see what ends up happening with the Bears and what ultimately happens with this pre-draft process. It's going to be very crucial, very key. So I can't wait to just get this thing going. But let's talk about what actually happened this weekend, because the Caleb Williams news, I just wanted to get that out of the way and just say, yeah, he's going to be eligible. But what happened this weekend was all the teams that won, and now we still have one more game that's actually going on right now, but I at least saw what happened with the Bills game. What happened this weekend was we saw quarterbacks lift their teams, regardless of situation, and win the games. And when you look at the scoreboard, you see the Bills, right? Who they went against a good Steelers team and beat them by 14 points. Josh Allen played a very good game. The Dolphins, who have been dominant all year, and the Chiefs, who have the most dropped passes out of any team out there, ends up winning because of the one and only Patrick Mahomes. And you look at the Browns and Texans, CJ Stroud dominated, and unfortunately, Jordan Love looked like the better quarterback when it was him versus Dak Prescott. And then the Lions-Rams, that to me was more a toss-up, like more of a regular game. But you really saw the quarterbacks shine and lift their teams. And why that's so important, and you saw this on Twitter, and also you couldn't help but look and watch these games and go, just realize the importance of the quarterback position. Because you look at the Miami game in particular, they have the best play caller out there in Mike McDaniels, right? We talked about this when we were breaking down Shane Waldron. He is the best play caller according to the advanced metrics. And just by eyes, you watch, the Dolphins are incredible. They have a good offensive line, one of the best receiving cores, and one of the best running games in the NFL. But still, Tua kind of struggled a little bit, and it really caused some troubles for them. The quarterback is the most important position in all of football and, quite frankly, in all of professional sports. And when you watch the games this weekend, at least for myself, I'm sitting there going, we need that game changer. We need somebody that can take us to that next level. Now, I'm not here to say that Justin Fields absolutely can't do that, but we have not seen that. We've seen the glimpses, but he has not done that on the field consistently. And I hope he could be the guy. I hope he could be the answer. But we need an answer. That's what it boils down to. We really, really need that answer, because now you go over, and this makes it feel even worse. You see CJ Stroud, and CJ Stroud looked like an absolute baller. And CJ Stroud's a perfect example. He's someone, and we've already heard this, and this is why I also wanted to bring this up for the next point. CJ Stroud, to me, looks great. And people now, I've seen on Twitter, they do like little victory laps where they say, we had CJ Stroud 1 and Bryce Young 2. But nobody thought CJ Stroud was going to be this good at the quarterback position. Because we have to give him credit where credit is due. People that had CJ Stroud as their QB1 was because they didn't like Bryce Young. I think that a lot of people thought CJ Stroud was going to be good, but ultimately they didn't expect that he was going to be this good. And why this looks bad for Justin Fields, why this kind of puts a sour taste in our mouth. For one, I go back to like the Star Wars thing, right? Like you should have been like how Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, right? Justin Fields was supposed to be the chosen one. Justin Fields was supposed to be the Ohio State quarterback that bucks this trend. And now we see CJ Stroud doing that. And CJ Stroud playing very, very, very well. And it just puts a little sour taste in your mouth. But I'll tell you all this right now. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry about this. It's good for him, right? After you go, okay, well, I would have liked Justin to be that. I'm not mad by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of people are, right? So let me know down in the comments if you're watching, do you blame Ryan Poles for not taking CJ Stroud? Because my take on this is just my 2 cents. I don't think you can blame Poles. I don't think we should blame Ryan Poles. Let's just be grateful for what we have. Now, yes, we need a quarterback, but we have the number 1 freaking pick again because of the trade. So I know that a lot of people wish that we had CJ Stroud and all that. But when you look at what the trade allowed us to get, if we can get our quarterback, which is a good quarterback class, if we can identify the talent and get the quarterback talent, then this looks significantly better for Ryan Poles. Also be grateful. We got DJ Moore, who's a very, very good offensive weapon. Without DJ Moore, what is this offense? Right? Without him, we just crowned him offensive MVP in our last episode. He looks fantastic, and he's on a good deal. We also, I think the second round pick we got turned into Javon Dexter, who has shown a lot more promise than I expected at the defensive tackle position. He's got incredible potential. And then you look, we got the first pick in the draft this year and a second round pick next year. To me, I am not blaming Ryan Poles because, yet again, like what I said, the people that liked CJ Stroud and had him as QB1 weren't pounding the table for him. What they were doing is they're like, well, I just don't really like Bryce Young. I think he's good, but I'd rather take CJ Stroud. Not banging the table to go, oh my God, CJ Stroud is going to be a star in the league already. Nobody thought that. Nobody expected that. Give the kid some credit with what he's been able to do with the Houston Texans. But also, you get to see that. And when we talk about surrounding Justin Fields with talent, it's also key to see how the Texans built this. The offensive line, very good, very foundationally sound. The offensive play caller isn't elite, but good. You surround him with a good play caller, a good offensive line, and the wide receiving core is a lot of good pieces all the way around. You have good playmakers throughout it. So you don't necessarily, like they don't do it with elite players. Stroud looked a lot better with Tank Dell out there, but with a Tank Dell and a Nico Collins and with, just solid like John Mechie out there, you really have a solid core that can really elevate everybody. So when we're looking this offseason, look at some core foundational wide receivers we could acquire to just make this receiving core better. Obviously, better the receiving core, the better for the team, right? But just getting talent to create a good depth to this, because there really wasn't any depth outside of DJ Moore and even Darnell Mooney. When you look at the stats, besides those two receivers, everyone else, when being targeted, it drastically faltered after that. But let's just talk about the future of the Bears before we wrap things up, shall we? Because what does this mean? What does this entail for the future? I still stick with, I think that Ryan Poles has a plan. He's not going to be this emotional roller coaster where he goes, like us fans, where this big thing happened. Oh my God, we have to get rid of Fields today. We have to draft Caleb Williams today. He's going to evaluate everything. Right now, he's evaluating what those quarterbacks are. He's going to be taking calls to know who's interested in number one, right? And I think he's just really going to play this by, I have all the time in the world. I have until the end of April to make my decision up. I'm going to focus on the quarterbacks. I'm going to see if I can trade it at all and what type of a haul could I potentially get. If it's rich enough, then awesome. But I think it ultimately comes down to what he thinks of this quarterback crop, because what we saw this weekend was that the quarterback position is really what wins you games. Defense helps. Defense gives you stability. And the better wide receivers you have, the better blocking that you have, it gives you a better chance. But this is still a quarterback-driven league, unfortunately. And because the Bears have not been able to find that. So I hope something happens and we're able to win with the quarterback. That's at least my vibe. Let's end it on a high note. Make sure to like and subscribe out there. I got a lot more content for you out there. But thank you all so much. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a